Dale Nichols, Shade Tree Gunsmithing. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Been a couple of weeks since we had been on here. You know, we've got a machine shop, and I had several stuff come in that, you know, parts for mowers and everything else I had to get taken care of. And then once we got that taken care of, well, my cameraman, he come down with the hoof on wong, I reckon. I mean, you know, it wasn't the flu, and of course, you know, the way the pollen is and everything else. I mean, you know, everybody's got the sniffles and that. But it about choked him to death. I'm not kidding. Had me a little worried there because, you know what, good cameramen are hard to find. And so I was wanting to make sure nothing happened to him. It's good to know that you know you want it anyway, if nothing else, just for a cameraman. But anyway, nah, he's a good old guy, really. But he's been down under the weather, and we had a guy up in Pennsylvania. I've got some work ahead of him, but, you know, I appreciated him sending me this firearm right here. And we're going to clean it, check it out, you know, try to prettify it a little bit. And, of course, you know, we'll lube it up, but, you know, we'll do our type of lubing to it. And, you know, his name is Edward Harty. And we really appreciate you, Mr. Edward, to, you know, send us your firearm there for us to go ahead and make a video. That's one thing we're going to do, is make a video out of it and show people that this fine firearm that you got, it's a rare firearm too. You know, I'm gonna tell on you. That's what I'm gonna do. You may not want me to say all this, but you know, I appreciate good firearms, and I'm gonna tell you something. Germans made some real firearms, you know. The style of them, the way they worked, and everything else. And this right here, let me do it real quick, you know, before somebody says, man, that old man going to handle that gun, he's not going to check it out, you know. Well, you know what, we're going to look down it, look over it, look up at the light, make sure there's nothing in there, stick a finger in there, there's nothing in the chamber, except for our finger. And we'll let that down, move the finger first, of course. There's the clip's empty. You know, all right, we've safety checked the gun. Now we're going to show it to you. Look at that thing. Ain't that a pretty thing? It's an Erma, and it's one of the 22s, just like we had before, but, you know, if you remember, it had the little bitty short barrel. And this one's got twice the barrel on it, and it's got a forearm grip on it. And we're going to tear it down, clean it. You know, we've done checked the function of it. Fire's great. I'm not kidding you. Absolutely great. And so, you know, we'll, like I say, we're going to tear this down. I guess we just go ahead and get started at it instead of just talking about doing it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the forearm off of it. And let's see here. I've got a... I was going to use one of them screwdrivers there, but I tell you what, this right here, that thing fits in there so good. I cradled it. Now, we love working on firearms. You know, I just love it. Absolutely love it. And but we just love to work on firearms. And when it's one that we've, you know, of course we've done these, but not one with a long barrel like this. So, I mean, you know, it's kind of a thrill to us to get to do it. And yeah, I really like this firearm so much. Now, we're not going to do a video of doing gold inlay on this, but I'm going to call this guy, and for him sending me this firearm from Pennsylvania down here, I'm going to see if he'll let me gold inlay it. You know, of course, now not everybody likes that gold inlay, so I mean, you know. Now with these, I guess I'll try to explain this as I go. All right, you got a pin right here that goes through it. You know, comes through on this side. Now you got to pull this barrel forward to get the pressure off that, and then you push it up on this side, and then reach around here and jiggle, 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 if I can get a hold of it. It's one of them things you gotta wrestle it till, you know, it comes out. See if I can push it through with my thumb. Let it fall out. There we go. Now then, when she falls out, then you just take and push it back. Let me make sure we don't have any spring pressure on it. Alright. Now she'll come back. Let's see if I got it back far enough. We got a pin right back here that will push out. So I guess we better get in our little punch kit that has the notorious little pecker in it, you know, and but I'm the only guy in the country that everybody likes my little pecker. But now that's hammer to you guys that don't know what we're talking about. But anyway, you know, now we're going to push that in just a little bit. Slide that pin out. This comes up. Slow and easy. We've got a spring right here, recoil spring. And we've got to bring this back just a little bit. And up. Slow and easy. Notice how I cradled it with my hand. That way if anything flies out. Now see, you've got this right here is your ejector. Right here. And that also operates the firing pin. And then this one is your recoil spring. Right here. And it's got that little nub on it. Right there. And that you can see. And that fits. Now let me pull this one out. And there's your ejector. What it does is when that gun fires and this slides back, and this thing all works off the recoil of the shell firing, you know. And so when that hull kicks back, or the brass, whichever one you want to call it, kicks back, then this right here just slides right straight back and out. You know, which is a little rough. This thing feels like it's got, almost like it's got cosmoline on it. Now right here is your firing pin. You know, and but anyway, we're going to clean all this up and spray it down. I don't know if we'll spray it down. What we're going to do is, you know, we had been telling the people about one of the best. Well, anyway, while we done that, all right, now we're going to take and slide this completely off like that. Lay this part down. And that's your recoil lug right there. I should have took it out, but I just, what it done is you've got this one right here and this one right here. And so when this slides in, your firing pin goes in this one, the top one right here. Let me get over here in the light where I can see it. And it only go in one way. I mean, you know, these right here, you can see the track on it. Right here, if you can see that track on there. This, you can't put it in this way. See, it won't go in. You keep turning it, and she'll drop in there. When she drops in, then that track is all in line with each other. And so, you know, that's how you, anyway, that right there. And this is the recoil thing, and it goes right, right down here. It's where it goes. In this one. There's a hole right there. And this, let's see, where's this? Let me get the spring out here, lay these parts out here so I can get them out of this magnetic. Alright, now this goes in this, right in the back. Now that thing looks just like that. you know. And for this gentleman that sent me this, I'm doing all this so he can go back and watch the video and see how each part goes in. And then this one will go right down here. Right down in there. And then that will compress, and then, everything will. But anyway, we're going to pull that out, put that there, take this here. Now, we're going to give this thing a real good cleaning. So, what we're going to do is we're going to remove these grips, and I'm going to tell you why. I believe these grips here are plastic. And, using cleaning solvent on something or something like that, I don't want to use anything that would damage, especially plastic. If it's wood, the one that I did before, I believe, somebody had changed the grips and put wooden grips on it. There's one of the screws to this one. And then we just pull it up, wiggle it, let it slide out. See this little catch right here slides up in here, like so, and then it just lays right down, pops right down. Same way with the wooden ones. But anyway, we don't want to I believe that's wood. That may be wood, but if it is, it's the most that's wood. It's the most finished wood that I ever seen on a firearm. It's almost got a finish on it like a Weatherby. And if any of you know anything about Weatherby, man, I tell you what, they're unmatched when it comes to the finish on their firearms. But anyway, we're going to get in here, turn that around, and now this side wasn't near as tight as the other side. And we'll put that in there, that in there, that in there. That in there. We can't put this in there. It won't go in there. But anyway, wiggle it around. That's wooden grips. That's good, because I can put some finish on them grips to really make this baby pop out there and shine. I'm gonna, all right, now. I remember that other one, the safety was messed up and I had to take the safety out. And now this one right here, I just want to make sure when I start with this, I'm checking everything's what I'm doing. Just checking it to make sure that the safety, operates. Get this light over here just a little bit. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start cleaning on this. I would, all these small parts right here, I would like to take and spray this. It all works properly. All right, now, I tell you what. I talked to you before about one of the best cleaning solvents that they got out here is paint thinner. Especially something like lacquer thinner, because you can take people that work on cars, or paint cars, let me put it that way, they use a lot of lacquer thinner. They'll take and wash that car down a lot of times, rub it down with lacquer thinner to make sure they get all the oils and everything off of it. And I got checking on that, a long time ago in high school. Now it's summertime, school's out, so you guys are going to hear some dogs barking. probably mine. That and the neighbors. But anyway, I learned a long time ago that paint thinner, when I was in high school, you know, they talked about using it to take the oil, you know, off a car and tar and everything else, you know, that would be on it. And so I got to thinking, you know, well, you know, I might could use that cleaning guns. And now I've been doing this for over 50 years. So, I mean, you know, I'm going to come up with something every now and then. And now you hear about it. But usually, you know, somebody said, oh, yeah, they've done that a long time. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say that I'm the one that figured out how to use it. I'm just going to say that, you know, that was one of them things that I started using. And then, you know, I've watched videos of people cleaning guns, and they talk about, you know, using paint thinner. I don't see a thing wrong with it, because I tell you what, I've done it a bunch. You know, done it a bunch. Now I'm going to take this right here, and I've got some, let me get down here and look at my light. Oh, by the way, my eyes are doing a whole bunch better from where I had surgery. But now I still, you know, I've got where my, you know, eyes got damaged in that car wreck. Well, what it was, they said it was my brain. I can believe that, because it hit me in the rear. So, I mean, you know, the seat's only cushioned so much. But anyway, I had them cataracts, or Cadillacs, I'll put it that way, moved out of my eyes. And it's surprising what you can see when you get a Cadillac out of it. Personally, I told the doc I like Lincoln Continental, but he said, it doesn't matter, you got Cadillac. So anyway, enough of that. Boy, that sucker shines, man, oh man. And you know, if you can see that, you know, I'll get it over here in the light, it would do it. You know. But by the time we get done with it, she's gonna be clean. And I'm still, you know, of course, the way this thing's designed, I can get to all this on the side of it from right here, you know, the trigger mechanism and all that stuff. And, you know, what holds the safety bar and all that. And so we're going to clean her up. Of course, you know, we'll lube her up and do all that. But anyway, we've got... there's my clock. For months, I didn't have it working. And I missed it. Yeah. And so, look at that. You know, you can see that grime and whatever it is, it's in here, but I mean, we're even getting it out of the head of the screws. And so, you know, all right, we're going to lay this part right there. Now this, on this barrel, I'm telling you, it almost looks like Cosmoline. It really does. But, you know, we're going to see what we can do about removing it. Yeah, baby. That's it coming off there real quick. And now there's a little bitty place right there on that barrel that I may see what we can do here. Almost looks like a speck of rust. I may have to take and buff that off. If I do, then it's going to be a couple of days thing, because I'm done scheduled tomorrow. You know, Easter's coming up. And a year ago, the Saturday before Good Friday and Easter, I lost my sister. And She was a good woman. Her husband had passed away about, I don't know, 6, 7 years before that, I guess. 5, I can't remember. But anyway, I mean, we miss her, but we know that she's in a better place. And so, you know, but the church I go to, and yes, I go to church. I don't claim to walk on water now, people. I'll tell you that right now. You ever have you that's had children, have you ever had a kid that was just, he wasn't a delinquent, but he always kept you on your toes, you know, about one thing or another? Now that's me with the Lord. I mean, you know, I know I'm one of his kids, but I think I'm one of his worst, you know. But the main thing, I'm one of them. So anyway, we're not going to get into all that and stuff. I mean, you know, we're just trying to, but anyway, I'm trying to get that over and see what that is. A little bitty, and I don't know what it is. It's almost like rust. And I don't know if I wasn't planning on getting up, but I'm going to get up for a second. See if I can't buff that off with just a little bit of Scotch-Brite right here. It's got a little bit right there on that side. And then there's some right here, right there. Here, you can hear it hitting it, but I'll Scotch-Brite it. And then while we got it clean, we'll touch it up with just a little bit of cold blue, because I can't see taking hot blue and stripping this whole thing down for a little bitty speck like that, especially when it's expensive to do it. And he wanted me to clean it, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean it, but you know, I got to fix just a little spot on there. Now this video, you know, this is a big gun for one of them, you know. So it's got such a long barrel, it'll probably be a little longer video than what we normally do, but that's all right, you know. Yeah, let me, that's a dent in there, a ding, and so anyway, what we're going to do, we've cleaned it. Okay, well, we kind of just jumped back there and ran out in the shop real quick, got our Q-tips and everything else, and you know, these, I was talking about getting cold blue. I wasn't thinking when I said that, but these are all out of like a aluminum alloy. And so I went out and I got some aluminum blacking that I can put on it. And it will do the trick. Guaranteed. Anyway. And by the way, it's called aluminum black, and it's by birchwood, so you can see it there. If you ever have a firearm that's aluminum, you know, and you've scratched it, and you've tried to and you've sanded it out, and you wonder what you're supposed to put on it, that's what you're supposed to put on it if it's out of aluminum. It's aluminum black. And so, you know, right there, if you can see it on there, you can get it at Walmart, or, you know, I think I ordered this offline because I went to Walmart. And you know how Walmart is nowadays, they ain't got nothing. So anyway, you know, I guess business is that good, but I ain't gonna say nothing about them, you know. Get our fancy looking Q-tips. There's a guy wanted one a while ago, or not a while ago, a couple weeks ago, was here, and he said, "You got any Q-tips, man? My ears bother me." I went back there and got one of these things. It just goes so far in that big knot on it with a stop. You know, like that. Man, I ain't never seen a Q-tip like that. I said, "Well, now, you didn't say how picky you was, you know." I just told you I had some. And so, you know, we'll turn this thing over and get a different clean part of the rag here. Kind of saturate it a little bit there, let it run in it just a hair, and then get in here and run that between it. There we go. Get it in them little grooves and stuff, you know. Then we've got our Sweets 7.62 that we're going to clean the inside of the barrel with. And we don't want to, on the outside, I'm not going to put any oil, brush any oil on it, because I'm going to get in contact with the guy and tell him if it's all right for him sending it. I would like to put the gold inlay, but now if he don't want it, then, you know, we won't do it. But I don't want to just jump ahead and take something for granted that somebody might want it and then they don't, you know. So I'm gonna, now you can see that, that's nice and clean there. You can see that, the reflection off of it. It's nice and clean. So we're gonna go over here. Now this is gonna take just a little bit longer thing, because I don't believe one, let me see here, will be long enough. No, one don't even reach it. It might with the brush on it, but you know what, we're just gonna, we'll put it together and run our sweets through there if we can. These things, I'd rather have a solid rod, because I know if any of you's out there, and you got to make sure it's tight, have owned any of these cleaning kits like this, then you know that if it's real hard, sometimes them things, if you don't watch, will kink in the middle and break. And then you got to turn around in order to get another one. You got to buy a whole kit. Now I've got another thing that I use, and you know, I don't think I've ever told any of you about the other things that I use, you know, to clean firearms and stuff. But there's more to cleaning a firearm correctly than just running a swab or anything else through it. I mean, you know, I should have brought it, but I've got a line, and on the end of it I've got steel wool, and then I've got a little bitty fishing weight, I think a sinker in a minute, on it. Just it's a real small one, just so it will pull the line down through there. I use that a lot of times on rifles that have been really neglected, you know, old firearms. I'll have to grit and grunt and everything else to get this one through there. Yeah, well, we had a little bit of technical difficulty. Battery ran dead. But anyway, you know, that's what we get for not charging it. I can't think of everything. But anyway, you know, they wouldn't but one walked on water, and it sure wasn't me. I sink like a rock. So anyway, well, we're going to start putting her back together. So first thing we need to do is get our trusty mineral oil. You'd think I'd put that in a bigger thing. Get it over here. Put just a couple of drops. I only want to put one, but two of them drop down. It's kind of like one snuck in there on me, so, well, Life in the fast lane's the way I see it. First things first. I'm gonna go ahead and get over here where the trigger mechanism is, and then get it in here, and then we're gonna get it in here. Now while the battery was charging, I just went ahead and run the cleaning rod down through here, save a little time. I mean, you know, and but anyway, there's nothing to it, running the cleaning rod down through a barrel, so I don't think I had to, you know, put that right there. And let me get my spectacles. Things are still just a little foggy for me. Not bad, but just a little. And so we'll get this up here, and make sure we got both sides. I know I brushed both sides, but I'm going to do it anyway. Again. And let's see here. Oh man, that thing slides. Lord, that thing slides good now. It almost slid all the way through it. Anyway, that's what it's about. You just put a little bit in there. Now, if you can see this in the light, it's dull looking. And I just take that brush, and you can see that it's shiny there. I mean, you know, and that's all you need. You know, I keep telling this all the time, but, you know, you can't stress it too much. And then this will go, I guess I have to hold it up here like so I can get it all the way it's supposed to be. And then that will slide in there. Look at that, how smooth. It's just smooth as silk. And it goes all the way up too. Alright, now that we got that, remember there's our ejector that goes on the back of our barn pin. Right here, this one goes in the bottom hole. So I'm going to have to move this slide around a little bit where I can see to make sure that I'm getting it exactly where it's supposed to be. Okay, that's it. Now to make sure here, I got to get that. I ought to have my flashlight out here is what I should do. But anyway, this one goes in here, and then your top one, which is your firing pin. And this is, by the way, the one you've seen, the last one I done. Now this one right here is a newer model, and the reason being, it's got this square thing on the back of it here, this square part, and it can only go in one way, you know, into this, which, you know, there again, that's a good thing. But line this up, and then that will push right in there. All right, and then here's your ejector that goes in with it. All right, now both of these stay just like that. Now this barrel, this has to push back. Till we get, all right, come on now, push back here. There we go. where you can put that pin in here, you know, and so that's where it's got to be, you know. This will come back, and then this folds over, comes down, your ejector runs up into this part of it. And we can get it to go up in there. Slide this back a little bit more. It'd probably be a lot easier. And this comes down. Okay, that lines up with that hole. And then as you bring it down, fold it down, and go in with it, this pops right in that little retainer thing right there, and then we push it in. Well, I'm going to have to get my... This gun's a lot longer than the other one, so I may have to put it down against my lap. Alright, let's see here. Move it just a hair. Just a hair. Look at there. Pop it right in. This is the only hard part of the whole thing, is getting that perfectly lined up. Now, I'm sure y'all have heard me talk about gunsmiths having about 4 hands, because that's what they normally need to get something. Well, line that up a little better than what it is. There now. Let's see if I can push this in from that side. There we go. That'll help me drift it in there a little bit better, maybe. And that's the hardest part of the whole thing, is getting this one little bitty thing, and then you just keep pushing it through there until you get it all lined up. And you don't have to take a hammer with it to it. I mean, you know, had just a little difficulty there. It wasn't nothing that we couldn't handle. It just, these springs are pretty tight, and so when you get this facing forward, just that little thing goes up front here. A lot of times, if you get it exactly right, it'll fall in there. There it went. Well, I was wrong. It just fell right in. Okay, well, we're going to do the system check with it, and that should then we'll put the grips on it, you know, make sure. There it is. That's when it's empty, you know. Then you have to hit the button to bring the clip out. Come on now. Let me hold it up like this, see if I can get the... I need a half dozen hands. There we go. All right. We got all that back. Got her oiled up, lubed up, whatever. And we was able to buff these. I don't know if it's showing up how shiny they are now. This is what holds everything down. That goes right like that. But that's how come the checkering in it is so sparkly, is we took it out there after we waxed the wood using See if you can see that right there. But anyway, that's what we use. The browning, the dark for darker stocks, and for and that's what these are called. These are stocks. A lot of people call them grips, you know, but really they're gun stocks. That's the proper name to, you know, to call them is stock. But anyway, there. Don't need to overly tighten, but we want to get it tight enough to where the grips don't wiggle wobble, you know, and all that other stuff. And I just tell you, if I can't finger start it, I don't start it. And I've seen guys set screws down with a screwdriver and start screwing away. Got news for you. Good way to strip one out. Of course, you know, I've got a hold of some firearms that other gunsmiths, that chokes me to say that sometimes, have gotten a hold of, and they monkeyed something up. And so they would take and either like a screw, stripping it out, and they'd turn around and put red Loctite in there and they'd just leave it alone. You know, gentlemen, I'll tell you right now, that's not professional. And there's too many of you out there that are doing unprofessional work that gives us a bad name. So I mean, you know, if you want to make a living at this, you got to be professional at it. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know how to do it. And when you mess something up, it comes out of your pocket. It don't come out of his. It comes out of yours. And by the way, you got one long screw, one short screw. I didn't tell that before, but anyway, you know, it's the way it is. And so we'll put our trusty little screwdriver in there. And I tell you what, this one fits so good that I could just about let go of the screwdriver and it'd stand straight up. You know, but and I guide it with my fingers. You know, I make sure when I'm turning it that I can tell that it's running true. You know, you don't want to. Now I'm not going to over tighten these because that's wood, and wood is pressed up against that, and so you don't want to over tighten, and you just want to let your screwdriver fall down in the thing there like that right there. Like I said, it's a good fit. There we go. I started to leave the screwdriver hanging there, but there we go. That's what it looks like. You can look at it in the light here. I can take it, you know, run it down. There's that little bad spot that was on the bottom, and we've got it straightened up pretty good. Right here's everything, you know, coming out here. You know, you see the stock. Of course, before I send it back, you know, I'll wrap it, wipe it, and everything else, make sure there's nothing. I've still got Renaissance on here, and that I've not buffed off yet, or wiped off. But anyway, and I'm going to tell you something now. You know, I'm not paid by none of these guys. It's just stuff that I've used over the years. This Renaissance, if you want to bring a luster out on your metal and stuff like that, this stuff gets right in the metal. And it's good stuff. I wouldn't say it was if it wouldn't. I use it. And this is, now this one here, I got the first of the year. And I want you to look how much has gone out of it already. You know, and so, I mean, I use a hound out of it. Every firearm that comes in my shop, when it leaves, it's got Renaissance on it. Because, you know, doing a little bit of extra there, gentlemen, you know, I've seen guys that brought guns to me and said, yeah, I had this one down here at so-and-so's. I said, have you shot it? No. How long ago did you have it there? Well, I just picked it up today, like that. And I'm telling you what, the gun looked like it laid out here in the doggone yard for a month. So guys, if you're working on guns for somebody, I'm just going to tell you, you know, do a little bit of extra. Clean them up. Take a little pride in yourself and what your work is. Because you know what, we're a dying art. We really are. And, but now I'll tell you what, this right here is a pretty firearm. And I'm going to go inlay it, but I'm not going to do it on camera because we got enough gold inlay videos. But now you can see on the end of the sight there where we've re-blued it and everything, and looks good, you know. And I don't know if it's showing up in the camera or what, you know. But anyway, right there it is. It's a beautiful firearm. You know, we just cleaned it, oiled it up. You know, we just checked it. You know. Right there it comes up and it stays. Now these are a little different than the other one I had. The other one that I had here, it had a polymer clip. So I mean, this here's got a metal clip. And I really like that. But anyway, you know, fired it. Now you heard it. I don't like doing that because 22s are really bad to break the firing pin. So I did it the one time just to show you that everything worked. And so that's it. That's the Erma. You know, I don't even know what number this one is. This one's let's see, it says Erma. This is the ET22. So that's what it is. Erma ET. 22. And I appreciate your time and everything else. I know it took a little longer to do and stuff like that, but it's a longer gun. You see that? It's longer. So I mean, you know, it is. It's a longer gun, so it took a little longer to clean it, you know, and do what we had to. But we had forgot to charge our battery up. So anyway, that's the way it is. So as a good old friend of mine always says, you know. I want you